What's the temperature right now between U.S. and China in terms of relations? I think it's how would you describe it? When you go to bed at night, can you sleep?
Sure, Joe. I think it's pretty good because I think we finally acknowledged that we're in a competition, right? I think we were deluding ourselves for so long, right? We assumed that cooperation and engagement with China would change China, right? And that China would, play by the rules. China, as it prospered, would liberalize its economy and liberalize its form of governance. Well, now we know for sure under Xi Jinping that's not the case, and that we have to compete because, hey, Joe, I don't think we should be long on totalitarianism, right? I think we have to really do everything we can to compete effectively, and build a better future for those who live in the free world.
I just think we already are long totalitarianism, or at least most of the S&P 500 is.
Oh, you're right about that, Joe. I think the people who haven't gotten the memo so far are on Wall Street, really, and I don't think they've factored in, geostrategic risk, right? And just all you have to do is pay attention to what Xi Jinping is doing, what he's doing to business, what he's doing to his own people, and then what he's doing internationally, as well, right? And so I think that, what we have to do is wake up to the fact that the Chinese Communist Party, right, is determined to extend and tighten its exclusive grip on power internally, and to become more and more aggressive externally. And what we really need to do is compete much more effectively by at least stop underwriting our own demise, right? With the flow of funds into China that allows the Chinese Communist Party to prioritize its strategic objectives over return on investment, right? We are in fact, I think, strengthening the party's strategy.
I think about the companies involved, and we want to compete, but we need to sell into that market. And it's almost a forbidden fruit. You can't tell Nike or Starbucks or the NBA or any of these entities to ignore 1.2 billion people. When you think about how many NBA fans there are in China, it's like 3 times the number of people in the United States. Not quite, but so it's this weird quandary where we almost have to get in bed with totalitarianism. And I don't know what happens to Taiwan. I don't know if the government is going to effectively have the spine or the backbone of this administration to deal with it in the right way. And then you saw what happened in Glasgow. What did they promise versus what we promised unilaterally?
Well, and their promises really don't amount to anything, right? I mean, the party promises whatever they want to gain an advantage. So environmentalist Xi Jinping talks about, net zero emissions, but China is financing and building 50 to 70 coal-fired plants internationally a year, right? And is the biggest emitter and is doing nothing really to help in the area of global warming and carbon emissions. But it's really, I think, Joe, this should be the #1 ESG issue, right, for companies. Is how about genocide? Should genocide maybe be an ESG issue? And I think it's important maybe for businesses to take a Hippocratic oath. First, do no harm, right? And I think in 3 fundamental ways, right? First, don't help the Chinese Communist Party gain a differential advantage over us militarily, right? Or gain an unfair advantage in the emerging data-driven global economy. Second, right? Don't help the party extend and tighten its exclusive grip on power through the establishment of this technologically enabled Orwellian police state. And then finally, and this is really, really important for businesses, I think, is don't help the Chinese Communist Party drive you out of business in the long term in exchange for short-term profits. And we've seen this with so many companies, right, who to gain access to the lucrative Chinese market, compromise and transfer their intellectual property and their know-how. The party takes it, right? They subsidize these companies that then use your stolen and transferred intellectual property and know-how to then shut you out of their own market and then dump goods on the international market at an artificially low price that drive you out of business and reduce your market share globally as well. So, this has happened so many times now. Let's not continue to repeat those errors.